Hello and welcome to Devil's Advocate. After last weekend's all-party opposition meeting of Pakistani parties in London, are Pakistani politicians in a better condition to take on General Musharraf? That's the key issue I shall explore today with the president of the Tehreek-e-Insaf, the famous cricketer Imran Khan. Imran Khan, your all-party meeting generated a lot of thunder, but what leads you to believe that General Musharraf cares at all about what Pakistani opposition leaders say or do?
Well, until now he was justified in not worrying too much about the opposition, because the opposition, there was no chance of it getting together. They found excuses to divide themselves.
But you haven't got together. Benazir Bhutto, the single most credible opposition leader, boycotted your meeting, and Fazlur Khan, who's an ally of the general, was there sitting amongst you almost like a fifth columnist. So what sort of opposition grouping was this?
Well, Benazir, it's true that she's not part of it, but at least there's an opposition which public will identify as a genuine opposition.
Without the PPP? How credible is it?
It doesn't matter, because if at the moment the problem with the opposition was, and which is why we could not mobilize the public, was because the public did not know whether the opposition was genuine or not.
But even now they don't, because Benazir Bhutto, and I keep saying she's the single biggest opposition leader, is said to be talking to General Musharraf. The Americans are pushing for some sort of deal, and you can't prevent it happening.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if Benazir is not part of it. At least there's a genuine opposition which people will identify will do no deal with Musharraf. And that's what's happened. I think that's the positive that's happened.
Well, you say it's a genuine opposition, but I put to you that, number one, the biggest element of it is missing. And secondly, you're fractured. And I'll tell you why. If the general were to go ahead and hold elections, to begin with for the National Assemblies after dissolving the existing one, would you participate or would you boycott? And can you be united in either?
Well, let me say one thing. The problem General Musharraf faces is that the moment a genuine opposition goes into a movement in the streets, that's where his problems were. Until now, this hasn't happened. The opposition has already decided the venue of the first rally which they are going to have on the 9th, and then the second on the 14th. And so once the opposition goes into the public, that's where Musharraf's problems start.
That's the problem. Once it goes into some sort of rally that is effective, but for 8 years you've challenged General Musharraf and you failed. Iftikhar Chaudhry, who's not a politician, has succeeded, but you failed. And the second Iftikhar Chaudhry's challenge fizzles out because the Supreme Court gives a verdict in his favor and takes the steam out of his campaign, you people will be back where you were, ineffective, divided, and some of you still talking to General Musharraf. So I come back. Why should he worry about grand all-party meetings?
Actually, Musharraf is in a lot of trouble now. Whatever happens in the Supreme Court, if the Chief Justice it goes against him, the lawyers will take to the streets, joined by the opposition.
But if it goes in the favor of the Chief Justice, it will diffuse the situation, take the steam out of the Iftikhar Chaudhry campaign, and the general will have been let off a problem of his own making.
No, but then it goes into the Supreme Court, and then a series of constitutional petitions.
Isn't that your hope rather than a real expectation?
No, I think it's inevitable now, because the moment the opposition and the lawyers perceive the Supreme Court to be independent, the petitions will go in the Supreme Court. No general can survive in a democracy.
So you're saying that if General Musharraf loses the Iftikhar Chaudhry verdict, there will be greater problems for him, because in fact there will then be petitions moved in the Supreme Court against the very position that General Musharraf occupies. His presidency will be under threat.
I mean, simply that 73 Constitution cannot allow a general sitting on top and running the country.
But the very same Supreme Court that you're relying on is the one that has validated the legal framework order. Up till now, the Supreme Court of Pakistan, whenever it had a choice between democracy and legitimizing dictatorship, has always legitimized dictatorship.
Absolutely, and this is why, for the first time in our history, we will have a Supreme Court who will derive his power from the public rather than the GHQ.
But
that's why the general is in trouble.
You have no reason to believe it, but you hope that it will happen.
If the public had not stood by the Chief Justice, he would have been history in 2 weeks.
All right,
the fact that the Chief Justice today is standing there with the whole lawyer movement and the judge is scared now to give a verdict against the Chief Justice means that the Chief Justice is there with the power of the people.
What about something else? I can accept that the handling of the Chief Justice case over the last 4 months has eroded the standing of General Musharraf, but in the last 2 weeks, he's won widespread praise from the people of Pakistan for his handling, his firmness and his resolve in the Lal Masjid case. Surely his fortunes are on the rise.
Well, 2 reasons, 3 reasons. One is the Supreme Court. Second, the opposition now finally deciding to come in the field, which it hasn't so far. Thirdly, the bloodbath at the end, it has gone. You cannot imagine the damage it's done, General Musharraf. It's gone against him. It's going to. It's not going to. It's an albatross.
You
it's
say
not
it's
going to
gone
leave him.
against him, but the Pakistani papers aren't saying that. And in a sense, they mold public opinion. The Pakistani papers are saying that he's got praise for his resolve, he's got praise for taking firm action, and the ordinary man, as interviewed on television, is applauding this.
This is not true. What happened was that everyone in Pakistan, the public opinion was against the clerics. I mean, everyone thought what they were doing was wrong. But there were a lot of question marks about the way this was being handled. But eventually, I think there was a time when General was, the move was quite popular, when one of the clerics was caught in a burqa. But after the bloodbath, I think it's very much against him.